And welcome to my audience. Glad to have you here. This is a Meaningful Purpose podcast for May 19th, 2026. This is your host, Luis Marrero, and I have a special guest today. I have the pleasure of introducing or presenting Shantay Adams from Fresh New Consulting, and she's in Arizona. Um, and the title of our conversation today, this podcast, is going to be a built for profit, the four pillars of business and entrepreneurships. So welcome, Shantay. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and it's an honor. Thank you. I'm happy to
Okay,
be
well,
here.
listen,
Excited.
yeah, so I have the audience see us, and then I'll put back the boards as we need them. Um, Happy to have you here, like I said, and you and I had this conversation, as we were pretty much preparing for this session, and I found it so fascinating, so interesting because, first of all, I benefited a lot from hearing you. So I
Mhm.
thought that, the first time we talked, I thought I got a lot of value from it. When you and I are preparing for this session, I also got a lot of value from it. So I'm really excited to, have my listening audience benefit from the message that you have for them today. So let me start with this question. Okay. What is the problem your practice solves?
Well, one of the main problems is the issue that folks having with debt, limited income flow, insecurity financially, whether it be in their business or families, and also to the areas that they want to improve in terms of themselves. I just had a very, very pointed conversation with someone, a young man who's been in leadership and he has his own business. And he said, one of the areas I want to improve myself. He said, I've approved for companies I worked for in the past. He said, but I've been in entrepreneurial space. He said, I really need to develop myself. So one of the things that we do as well is we help people improve themselves with self-development, self-improvement. So those three areas, and we help people have freedom, security, and peace. Because that's why he has so much anxiety because he said there's areas that he feels he's staying stagnated and he's not growing. And if he's not growing, his business is not going to grow. So he knows, so they know there's something he needs to improve on. So we help people improve. So ultimately, their business, their life, their family can also improve. So those are the challenging areas that we focus on. Is folks who are dealing with limited time, limited money, and then areas they want to improve in, whether it be in their personal life or even in their business. Those two areas, those three
Okay.
areas we focus in for those groups of individuals.
Okay. So you just mentioned this particular individual you were talking to.
Yes.
So he's an entrepreneur. He's a business person who's trying to build his practice. Are there other communities or other people that you help
Oh
in
yeah,
addition to
absolutely.
just
Oh
go
yes,
ahead?
all any family. So what we like to work with any family out there, young or old, doesn't make a difference. We work with all families, particularly those who have small children because they're more responsible. They have responsibility, so they want to take things seriously. And if they don't, it's okay. We still work with them. Entrepreneurs and business owners we work with as well. So they
Right.
have problems in their business. They want to improve things. They want to expand. They want to grow it. They want to know how to grow it properly. Those are the areas that we get to provide for them.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So when you and I talk again, and it's the subject of our session today, we talked about the four pillars of business entrepreneurship. I
Yes,
found that fascinating. So
yes.
let me put up that board that has to
Okay,
do with that particular. Just give me a second here.
okay.
With we already did that. Okay, come on, move it. Let's just be a second here.
Okay.
Okay, found it. So there are the four pillars, and hopefully they'll be showing up in a second.
Yes, these
So
four pillars, I see them.
yeah, so it's philosophy, systems, infrastructure, and volume. Provide a little bit of context to our audience in terms of
Yes.
what are the four pillars about?
So the four pillars. So anytime I meet with someone, well, let me start by telling my story first. Be transparent. When I
Sure.
got into entrepreneurship back in 2017, I didn't know what I was doing. I often said I needed a coach, I needed a mentorship. as I realized that I was considered like a high class volunteer because I didn't have these four things put in place, and I didn't even know about these four things. And so, however, as years progressed, and I just failed miserably. I didn't say I failed. I guess I could say I failed. I guess I will be honest. I did fail because it wasn't fully successful, but I did have some success. So I did experience that in terms of building relationship. So I understand building relationship is important in any type of entrepreneurship or any type of business that you want to establish, because you want to establish a reputation, build
Right.
trust, build that no trust factor. So those things, those elements, or some would say soft skills, were there, but I didn't have these hard skills in terms of these four pillars. And so as I began in my journey over the years, and as of recently even more, these four pillars are extremely important in any business or any entrepreneurship journey. So let's talk about this pillar of philosophy. Philosophy is just a belief. And I gave the example when you and I were meeting. I talked about Amazon has one, but I gave the example more so for McDonald's. I think McDonald's is a great example of this as well, because I talked about the founder of McDonald's, Dick and Maurice, and how these two brothers, the initial McDonald's that was created in San Bernardino, California, it failed. And a lot of times when entrepreneurs get out, they may experience failure. It's almost expected because you're just branching out, unless you have mentorship, right away, to kind of help rescue you. But if you don't, then sometimes you experience, failure or setbacks. And so, however, these brothers experienced setback, but they knew that they had something that was good. They just needed to go in there and refine that better. And so when I spoke to you about back in those days when McDonald's came out, they had women on, the skates and roller skating at different restaurants that made the food slow. Well, however, the brothers knew that they could make it fast, and they believed in that. And that belief became the true foundation of their business, which is the philosophy. But the brothers had to create a system to make it fast. And same thing when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to have a belief. You have to believe in what you're doing. Whatever that is, you have to believe it to the core of your being. And then you develop a system around that's going to emphasize that philosophy. So they create a system of how they make their hamburgers, how they put the ketchup and the mustard and the pickles, all that on there. All of them ask them, you want fries with that? You want a drink? They have this system, a way they do things, and it's replicable. And so you can duplicate it. So that means anyone who comes into your business, whether you're there or not, the system is driving it, which is why I said, I made a bold statement online 2 weeks ago. And I said, a true business is independent of you. And so what these brothers did in this McDonald's is they created a system that anyone can step in and duplicate it. And then the infrastructure is derived from the system. So the infrastructure is what allows you to have sustainability. It allows you to not only, and so does the system, but it allows you to improve your decision making. It improves the business. It takes the business from being unstable to stability. It causes I wrote down in my notes here. I'm gonna read it. It says infrastructure is the link, it's the actual overpass or the bridge for entrepreneurship to see sustainability and profit. That's the infrastructure. That means it's solid. That means it's hardly breakable. It's going to drive the goals and ideas and creativities. All of that infrastructure is providing that. And then you come for volume. Volume is when you start seeing a profit. Many entrepreneurs, they are visionaries, and including myself. What I've learned is that in order to have the profit, you have to build these three up first to see the volume. And the volume is when you turn a profit, you're earning money. You have your cash flow is increasing. You're starting to see things differently, and it's producing. Just like the McDonald brothers, when they went back the second time and they put all these four things in place, they had long lines of customer flow. They had customers outside their restaurant. I mean, just the line was just long. And then, however, that's the four pillars, and we can discuss it further. But I just wanted to give that backdrop of these things and why it is so imperative in any business, any true business that you see, any big company out there, they have these things in place. We just didn't have the articulation of what that looks like for a big company or even smaller companies, but smaller businesses, for them to have sustainability and to expand. these things have to be in place and they're non-negotiable.
Right. And again, I found when you shared that again today, I found it very, very comprehensive, very thorough.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a deep dive, per each one of these phases that you talked about.
Okay.
So the first one is philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Shantay, when you and I met last time, you said that the McDonald's had a word that pretty
Yes.
much, you know, uh, um, expressed what their brand was going to be all about. Can you talk about that?
Yes, yes. So McDonald's, their one word that describes who they are, how they communicate to the market is fast. That's why they got the phrase fast food come from, because they had a philosophy of doing everything faster, getting you in and out, get people moving along so they go about their day if they're on their lunchtime break. So they built up a reputation. So your philosophy is your reputation. Your
Right.
philosophy is how you communicate to the marketplace. So just like Amazon, their word is convenience. And it's a commercial. I talk about Amazon often. I think their marketing team, those who created that, nailed the philosophy. And it was a commercial for those who are watching or watch the replay of this podcast today. They have a commercial. Some of you all may or may not have seen this commercial, but I'll tell you very, very, very quickly the commercial. It was a guy who had on a white T-shirt, crisp white T-shirt. And white, when the stain gets on there,
Yeah.
you see the marks on there. So it stands out, right? So he steps outside, this clean, crisp white T-shirt out. It's sunny. He went through this courtyard. People are eating food. They're having a great time. You see children, families just enjoying themselves, like it could have been a Saturday afternoon brunch or something. It was just very peaceful. Then all of a sudden, mayhem just broke out, and it was like food fighting, grenades going off. People were dropping things from the sky. It was like, whoa, like a war zone. And all of a sudden, this man who had on this white crisp T-shirt, who was walking through the courtyard, had stains all over him, all over his shirt. He gets back home, and no sooner than he gets back home, he set his keys down on the table. The doorbell rings, and it was an Amazon product at his doorstep. He opens he opens up the door. The product was detergent. I can't think of the name of the company. I didn't even care about the name of the detergent because it really
Sure.
wasn't about the product. What it
Yeah.
was, the message of convenience. Because it
Right.
showed up at his doorstep right when he got home. It was like jolly on the spot. And so that commercial, whatever, it just spoke so much volumes to me. I remember that commercial. I can't tell you any other Amazon commercial, but that one I remember because it spoke of convenience. That man didn't
Right.
have to go to the grocery store. He didn't have to go to the Sam's Club or whatever people shop to get their detergent. He didn't have to go there.
Right.
Amazon's message is very clear. We will deliver this wherever you are. It's all about your conveniency. It's all about what you want. So the philosophy is not about what we want, it's what our consumers want.
Right. Right.
So the consumers want the food fast. So McDonald's, their belief was we can make it fast because we want to give the people what they want. People buy what they want, oftentimes not what they need.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so the philosophy is more so what do people want? And so we know that people want time and money, freedom and happiness.
Right. Right.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
So our philosophy and what we do brings that, and that's our new art of living. And that brings that. That's our philosophy. And that's
Yes.
what Amazon and many great businesses have established. You could think I could go, the list can go on. We could talk about Uber. We could talk about Uber's is accessibility.
Yeah.
We could talk about Starbucks. Theirs is experience. That's what they do. That's who they
Yeah.
are. That's how they brand themselves. That's how they communicate to the marketplace. So your philosophy is your marketing tool. It's how your marketing is communicating to the needs, not the needs, the wants of your direct market, the people you're
Right.
going
Right.
after, the people you are looking to do business with. That's what the philosophy conveys.
That's right. It reminds me, I worked for Walt Disney World for many years. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you probably know the word was happiness, making people
Yes.
happy. So
Yes.
everything has to be around making people happy. So it makes a
Yes.
lot of sense. So I think that the takeaway is for our listeners that they have their own practice. For instance, as a practitioner, something to think about is, what is the word that is going to pretty much represent my brand, that
Hmm.
sets me apart, that
Yes.
when my client has come to me, this is what they can expect, that I'm going to give them whatever that, that word promises, to give them.
Yes.
So I think this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. What about people that are not in business? Let's say a housewife, when she's got three kids, she's a single parent, the same thing applies to her?
Yes, because she has a belief too. She could
Right.
believe that she is a housewife. She said, well, you know what? I'm a homeowner. I organize my home. I organize my family. I'm the leader of that. So she can position herself as a leader. And she can say, my thing is, in my home, I bring light, I bring joy.
Super.
My kids are happy, my family, so my husband is happy, or she's a single mom. I'm the leader of my home. And I show up as a leader. I show up as one who conveys that. I'm organized, I'm disciplined, I'm leading by example. And that could be the same for a woman who's at home. It could be a wife who maybe took time off of work and to be at home, but she's a leader in her home. And her disposition, I'm a leader, and I show up that way. So the philosophy flows because she has a process of how she get the kids ready for school. They have
Yeah.
things laid out that produces results for the family. And
Yeah.
so these four pillars is for any situation. Now we're talking about in the framework of entrepreneurship and business, but it can
Yeah.
apply in any area of life. It could be in a marriage. It doesn't matter because every marriage have their own identity and the
That's
things
right.
that they believe in as a husband and a wife. And
Yeah.
so they run their marriage a certain way. They have certain things that system builds infrastructure. It produces success, fruitfulness. You see, which is a volume. So in a family and a marriage, anything like that, the volume is the fruitfulness. Same thing in entrepreneurship. That fruitfulness is their profit, their revenue. Now that business is bearing fruit.
Yeah, and I need to remind myself that the title of the podcast is the four pillars of business and entrepreneurship. But I did want our audience to understand and that you provide support to business people, but also
The
to
families.
families and to
Yes, I
individuals.
do.
So just to highlight that, but I probably want to focus on examples that have to do with the business entrepreneurs. So we have the philosophy down pat. We have to have a word that represents our brand. It's our promise to the customer. It's a need that the customer wants to have satisfied. Tell me more about the system. You talk about McDonald's, you
Yes.
talk about Amazon, but think about a typical client of yours, a
Mm-hmm.
small business person who's starting to build up his or her practice or her little business, as the case may be. How does that look like, the system?
Yes. So I wrote down some notes. So I wrote down some notes so I make sure I'm listening now. So those who are watching can jot down these notes. So
Sure.
one of the things that system does, system turns effort into consistency. So you have the vision, you have the mission that you want to accomplish. Now you need the system. What the system does, it turns effort into consistency. You out there, you're building up your business. You're putting yourself out there. You're marketing yourself. You may have your belief down. Now you need to go out there with consistent effort. But you do the same thing every time. So one thing about a small business is consistency. You don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
You have a wheel and you work that wheel over and over and over. Because the thing about it is that when you have a system that's duplicatable, if you need to leave to go on vacation, take care of your family, step away, who's going to step in for you? So you
Right.
have to have something people can mimic, can mock, can do the
Hmm.
same thing you do. So the system provides that. Without that, how would they know how to do your business? Just imagine if a small business owner who used to be in the forefront, who used to do everything, and if somebody has to step in, they may bring somebody else along the line, and they never train them on how they do it. Just imagine that customer experience. That person may want to do it how they want to do it, or how they think they should do it, or they think maybe better to do it. And
Right.
however, now this same customer or this same client is not getting the same experience. You think about Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Chick-fil-A, I gave that example. Every time you go to a Chick-fil-A and you get your food, they say, and you say thank you, they say my pleasure.
Right.
No one
Yeah.
ever says you're welcome.
Mhm.
If someone
Yeah.
says you're welcome, even we would say, well, you're not, they don't say you're welcome here. You can't say that. That's not part of the norm, especially if you're used to going there because you're used to a certain quality. So the system allows a small business owner, or even a big business for that matter, a big corporation or company, have consistency, even the way they communicate to their clients or their customers. So a system also saves time. So you're not wasting time. So remember what the McDonald's, back to the McDonald's, when they create their system, it was
Yeah.
allowed them to have more efficiency. So the customers can get in and out. So
Right.
time is not wasted. Same thing in a small business. You want efficiency because time is everything. Time, they say time kills all deals. You wait too long, it kills all deals. So you want something that's going to be efficient. And then also the people who are working the system, they are efficient with their time. They're
So,
efficient with their time. They're not wasting time. And then also too, it reduced decision fatigue. Ooh, that's a big one.
mhm,
Because a lot of
mhm.
times small businesses, we got a lot of decisions to make. We think about expenses. We think about this. But if we have a system fully running for us, then it minimize or at least reduce decision fatigue. You're almost not as overwhelmed because you know what you're going to do. Every day is the same thing. It's nothing new. You're not reinventing the wheel. Everything is derived from the philosophy. So then it's the system is built on that. The system reduces costly mistakes.
Yeah.
Because if you make a mistake, if you have to repair, or if it's expense involved in that, it can hurt a business. So we want to
Right.
reduce that. And then other things the system does, it provides the process are documented, which is good. We need to know areas we can improve it. That's a smart. So we need
Yeah.
to know we need to make adjustments here. We need to tweak this a little bit there. So the system lets us know what's working, what's not working, which
Okay.
we need that. And the system makes scalability profitable. Now, this is a big one. This is the biggest one out of all the things about systems.
Mhm,
Systems is what makes your business scalable.
mhm.
Many entrepreneurs, small or large, business owners, small or large, love their business to be scalable. Matter of fact, that's a buzzword right now, scalability. And so the only way you can make your business truly scalable is when you have a system that's driving it. The system has to drive it because it's going to drive the other pillars. So that system makes your business scalable. So I made this bold statement, and I said this a little bit ago. You cannot grow a business that depends only on you.
Right. Right.
Because if
Right.
it depends only on you, what happens with you gets to go take a vacation, or something happens with your health, or something happens with your family, and you need to take a vacation, you need to step away, you need to just debrief. Who's there to fill in the gaps for you? So the system allows you to have people, allow you to build a team. So you're not a one woman or one woman or one man wrecking crew, as I like to say it.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
you have others that can do it with you, and you
Right.
show them the ropes. And it's not you
Right.
just showing the ropes so they can take over what you do. They can do there too, but it's all under a system, and it's causing you to expand and grow. And so a system allows your team to offer faster services. So you do
Mhm.
have a team in your business, and you're a small business, and let's say maybe it's you, maybe two other people with you. It allows your team to do things, and it allows them to delegate with confidence. Just
Right.
imagine. So it really takes that fatigue out of decision making because you know you have a system that's driving it. You establish a system, you establish a way you talk to customers, you establish a timeline when you respond to that customer, you establish when you have things done for that client. So it's all these things are part of a system.
Right.
That's part of a
Oh,
system for a small business owner. And then one thing I would say, I just mentioned that system improves customer and clients experience. It makes a smoother system predictable. So like I said, when we go into Chick-fil-A, we already know that they're going to say my pleasure. It's predictable. And people
yeah.
like that. It allows for trust to be built.
Right.
So when we're building that like, no trust factor, it's established our reputation, our brand.
Right.
So the
Right.
brand recognition, the brand reputation, the brand has been established, is becoming solidified. So
Mhm.
now they're building a reputation in the community, in their city, in their region, and in the nation. And before you know it, they become a company that's becoming global because
Mhm.
their system was so consistent, and the clients knew what to expect. And that's the key. When a client or a customer know the type of service that you provide, they will go out there and tell so many people. Not only they will refer people, they will retain clients, but they will also go out there and be what we call it a raving fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We want raving fans because people buy based off what somebody else told them, or we look at reviews.
Right.
and we look at the reviews from other people because word of mouth still is one of the best marketing tool ever.
Right. Right. Okay.
And so,
So something I'm taking with, I mean, I'm taking a lot from what you're sharing, is that Shantay, but two things that really stood out for me is that systems include a plot, a script that people follow pretty much. It goes back to that experience thing you talked about, for instance, at Starbucks. There's a process in place on how to do things,
mm-hmm.
that process is very predictable, it's very learnable. People
Yes,
can connect the system with the brand, and this is why how it supports the brand. People can understand that. They can understand why it's important to follow the script, to follow the plot,
yes,
in support of the brand statement. Excuse me, and also by having a system in place that includes policies and procedures, and you will develop your technologies, your tools in order to support that system. And it's going to deliver predictability. It's going to keep things run and smooth. Everybody knows what is expected. It simplifies decision making because you already know that you have to meet the standard that is
mm-hmm.
set by the philosophy of the company, that magical word, Shivan word you want to select to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then what that does is that from a customer perspective, the customer continues to have the same positive experience over and over again,
Yes,
which will build loyalty towards the brand because they're
yes,
delivering to the promise.
100%. You actually summed it up perfectly. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we want. That's
Right.
what any business, small or large, solopreneur, entrepreneur, you name it, we all want that. None of us does not want that. That's what we want. That means your system is run like a well-oiled machine. It's
That's right.
running. It's running and it's running well. And everybody, and this is the key, and everybody is honoring that system. So your team, those who come and be a part of the business and they're doing it with you, they're respecting that system. That's why I mentioned about Ray Kroc. When Ray Kroc came and seen the McDonald's brothers, they introduced them to their system.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
introduced him to their system, and he respect that system, which what made McDonald's where it is today. Is all around the world. You can't go in
Right.
a country without a McDonald's there in some form or fashion. But he respect that system. He never tweaked the system.
Right.
He never
Right.
changed it. He respected and he honored it. So anytime someone come in your organization and you have a system in place, they have to respect it because the moment they don't, they are bringing division and they are bringing conflict of the customer's experience. Their loyalty, the brand is not being solidified. So it's important that when companies or businesses, when we are sitting down with individuals who want to be a part of the organization, they understand how we do things. Which is why many companies, especially large companies, have the what is it called? And I work in human resources, process and procedures.
Right. Right. Policies and
So
procedures. Right. Yeah.
yes, so
Yeah.
they have that, and so same thing in a small business. You want to have something, and you want to speak to that, so everyone is educated and trained on that. And
Right.
some businesses do that. Large companies do. They have a training process. Some small businesses don't really emphasize the training process. Sometimes they
Mhm.
just jump in there and they just try to figure it out. But
Yeah.
and what we do and what I do, that's not like that.
Yeah.
We it's a system because we know that it's going to make your business scalable and it's going to allow you to it's setting you up for expansion because your
Yep.
customer flow is going to be there. It's going to come because they see how you do business and it's consistent.
So yeah, I
And
hear you say that it's very important to have a very robust induction training program with people coming to the company, and that what people learn from that induction program that is sustained is reinforced by
yeah,
the system, that the system goes back continuously to keeping things on track
yes,
as
100%.
promised.
Yes, 100%. Even what we do in business myself, because like I said, I help coaches, I help entrepreneurs in this space, and I also provide them, and I do it in business with people who want to be a part of what I do. So it's
Great.
twofold. So people who want to be a part of what I do, we emphasize the system consistently. Like it's never not a part of conversation because what that does, like you said, it reinforces it. It says on the front of our mind that there's a system, there's a certain way this has to be done. Because if we
Right.
follow that certain way, it'll build this business properly. So, which leads us to infrastructure the same way. It's infrastructure that now the infrastructure becomes solid. Now that business is no matter if the rain come or highs and lows of the business, the infrastructure is still solid.
what is for the benefit of our listeners, what is the difference between system and infrastructure?
Well, system is how you would do it, and infrastructure is what makes it stable. It's like stabilizer. It stabilizes it. Stabilize. So in short, that's what it does. And infrastructure now, but infrastructure is the bridge that will lead you to the profit. So it's like you got this philosophy, you got this system in place, and then you have this infrastructure. And the infrastructure is like that bridge that will turn into your profit now, because everything is solid, everything is like growing, everything is moving, and this infrastructure is able to handle the weight that's coming for the volume. So it's like it's I don't know how it's like a you think about a tunnel like a water flow, and it's having everything just flow, and that's how it properly flow. I don't know why I see that vision, but that's how I see it, and it makes everything flow. It's like the overpass. Okay, now you got this bridge, which is the infrastructure. Think about when you build in a bridge, a literal bridge is infrastructure. It can
Right.
handle whatever's coming in. It can handle
Okay.
that volume that's coming in. It can handle all of that. You have to have that in place. You because the volume coming, there's no infrastructure. Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so you have to have the infrastructure there to have when the folks are coming through, the clients are coming, the customer are flowing in, and it's like peak, and you try to maintain and keep up with everything. You have to have the infrastructure put in place. So, for example, let me give you an example. I was talking to a friend of mine, a very close, special friend of mine, and he was telling me, he said that he went. This is a different subject, but it points a picture. He was speaking of the Cavaliers when they won the last championship of the NBA
Right.
basketball. And we were just speaking about this recently. Now, the Cavs won to Eastern Conference Finals, but he was speaking of when he went to the parade, they ran out of food. They didn't expect volumes of people. They didn't. It was millions of people. They didn't even predict that much. So that let me know. He said restaurants had to close their doors hours early, like way early. They had to shut down. They have no food. So that means they didn't have infrastructure put in place. They couldn't sustain it. And sometimes now that's some things that out of your control. That may be a good problem they ran out of food, but that means they sold out everything. They might make a nice profit. But just imagine if they would have said, let us get more just in case, because this is something that has not been done in decades. So let's prepare our infrastructure to handle the weight of volume that's going to come in. And
Okay.
so they didn't predict that. They didn't think about that. They underestimated.
Okay. So part of the
So they
thinking, yeah, part of the thinking, Shantay, is, for instance, the example of logistics, that you
yes.
need to have in place the system so that, let's say you start as a McDonald's or a Starbucks coffee, you only have one store, and suddenly you start to build stores in different places around the country. You must
Mm-hmm.
have warehouses, you must have trucks, you must have
Yes.
systems to move product
Yes.
from one place to the other. So we need to think logistic will be an example of how will
Yes.
you handle the volume as you're growing. You have to have the
Yes.
system in place, goes back to system. But in this case, it's to handle the infrastructure is going to handle and support the volume that is coming.
Yes. The weight of it. The weight.
The
Yes.
weight of it,
Absolutely.
the
The
weight of
weight of
it. I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah, because
Yes.
volume
Yes.
is the last thing we're going to be talking about here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
great. All right. So we got infrastructure. Tell me about volume.
So volume, the benefit of volume is like I said, it's profit. You're making money. You're turning things around. Things are going great for you. It creates it makes your business even more scalable. You can expand it. Your revenue is coming in faster than your expenses, which we all want that.
Yep.
Everyone wants that. At the end of the day, you want your revenue coming in faster than the expenses are. That means you're able to handle your overhead. Oof, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one for any solopreneur, small business. We want that. We take that all day, every day. That's it. Because if you got more expenses coming in, then you got revenue coming. It's like, what are we doing? Okay, what do we need to do? What are and think about it. And this is the thing. Let me say this to encourage every person, because I say this to encourage myself as an entrepreneur. Just because you have these four, don't expect everything to be so fast. You still have to work, wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
And you keep staying at it. But you do not tweak the things that you have established. You just keep going at it. You
Right.
keep going at it. As long as you're doing these things, you will eventually start seeing it. And I'm encouraged by that because I talk to many successful entrepreneurs way ahead of me. And one of the things that they said consistently is they never gave up. They kept going back and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Because
Yeah.
eventually it's going to lead to that. It's going to lead to
Right.
that value. It's going to lead to that profit. It's going to lead to that cash flow,
Hmm. Hmm.
which we want cash flow. We want
Yeah.
to leave where we're really turn out a nice profit, not just a little profit, but a big profit. Ultimately, that's
Right.
where we want to go. So that we're building something our family's taken care of, our business is booming, is doing very well. That's
Right.
what we ultimately want. And I'm a witness. And I kept going back to our philosophy, our system, the infrastructure, the value. I know that it's gonna turn. It's gonna work for my good. And I just want to say that to encourage those because I know a lot of entrepreneurs are going to different challenges.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
they really are. But I promise you, when you start having these four things in there, it makes the world of a difference. Because what it does, you're not trying to figure it out every day. Well, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna get new people, or how I'm gonna talk to people. Just maintain the philosophy, what you believe in, whatever that is, whatever you have established. Work the
Right.
system, work
Yeah.
it. This is work. Entrepreneurship is not something that happens automatically. No small business is successful automatically. There's no accidents, no coincidence.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
no one
Right. Right. You
success.
gotta work at it.
You got to work it. But
Yeah.
if you work these four areas, it does turn a profit.
Fantastic.
Whether you see it today or you see it tomorrow, it will turn a profit.
Yeah. So
And I'm
let
with it.
let let me paraphrase back the 4 points and then tell me if I got this right.
Okay.
Okay. So philosophy is a promise that I'm making to myself and my clients in terms of what they can expect from the business. So it could
Yes.
be happiness, it could be efficiency, it could be convenience. You mentioned a number. So they have to have a word that says this is what's going to represent
Or
my
phrase.
brand.
Or
Or
phrase.
that's why I
Or
got a
phrase.
note for this particular, benefit or value that I'm going to bring to my clients. And of course, we should do a very good job to make sure that the client wants that, so that we can match that, that they like convenience that we deliver to that convenience because they want it. This has
Yes.
to be something that the customer values. Second, we
Yes.
need to have a predictable system in place where everybody, all stakeholders within the organization are following that system to make it predictable and delivering the brand, the promise, the magical word, for instance, that we committed to. Then we need to have an infrastructure in place to be able to handle the growth of the organization. As a
Yes.
company grows, it needs to have a very robust system that is able to deliver whatever is required. So it might be, if it's a consulting firm, it might be enough staff with the right talent to be able
Yes.
to deliver to the promise. If
Yes.
it's, a hamburger company, it has to be a logistic flow that has all the bread coming in, all the meat, so forth and so on. So it has to handle the volume. We have to predict the volume. We have to be ready for that volume. We have to invest in that volume. So that's the infrastructure piece. And then the last point, and I've been using the word volume, but the last word volume is this is where the money comes in, that you're going to
Yes.
at some point, more revenue is going to come in that your expenses, you need to manage that carefully. And what I'm taking with me is that you need to know how to reinvest back in the business so that you can keep alive the brand, the system and the infrastructure, so forth and so on. Did I miss anything?
No, you summed up excellently.
Okay,
Excellent.
great.
Excellent summary. Yes. Great. Great summary.
Fantastic. So I'm gonna go to the next slide here. If it wants to move, there we go.
Yeah. So this is
So
what I
this
do.
is
Go
this
ahead.
is what you do. Okay,
Yes.
so now we're going to be talking about how can people reach you and what is the value that you bring to them.
So
So,
yeah.
for instance, this is the service that you provide as a coach and business strategist. Okay, we help you build scale with the business mentoring and strategy.
Yes, that sums it up. So that's what I do. They call me Coach Honey. It's a name affectionately from I'm a published author, and so I wrote the book "Release the Honey Within You: 7 Keys to Beautify the Overly Aggressive, Become a Virtual Honeybee Lady." So that's where the name comes. So someone's out there watching, why she's called Coach Honey? What does this mean, Coach Honey? So I just wanted to put that out there in case someone was wondering or thinking that. But as a coach, as a business strategist, I help you build it and scale it. Because at the end of the day, you want to scale your business. So you want to build it and you want to scale it. And what we do, we provide elite business mentoring. So when I mean by that elite, that means I'm with you. I'm in the trenches with my clients. I'm there with anyone who wants to be a part of the team with me. I'm in the trench. I'm very hands-on. I'm very hands-on. I walk with you. So you're getting that mentorship that's with you. Not that mentorship you talk to once a month, every 6 months, or a couple times a year. They may
Yeah.
mentor you here and there. No, I'm mentoring you right there with you and giving you strategies along the way and help you execute on those strategies. So that's what I do. And that's what sets me apart. I'm there with you. I'm in the trenches, not just, here, well, let's talk every now and then, let's catch up and see how things are going. No, it's not like that. It's right there with you, guiding you, giving you guidance,
Okay.
and
And
holding
then
you
the
accountable.
yeah,
That's right.
and then the next slide, sustainability, profitable, and scalability for time and freedom with happiness. Is this your promise?
This is a promise to help make it sustainability. We want to make it sustainable. And we know that a system and an infrastructure gives you stability. It turns over a profit and it makes your business scalable. So you can have time and money freedom with happiness. Because a lot of times people only have one or the other. Some people have two of the three, but rarely they have three. Time and money
Yes.
freedom with happiness.
Fantastic. Okay, then I have this next slide, next board that I'll be sharing with our audience. This is
Yes.
how they can reach you, right?
Yes, yes, sir. That's my QR code. You can call me anytime. So you can make an appointment with me. You can click that QR code. They say you want to book a meeting with Shantay. You can do just that. Or you can call me directly, email me, of course. So there's a plethora of ways to get in contact with me. You can go on my social medias on there as well. So you want to do a little more research who I am and what I do. You can go on there. It has my social media handlers once you click on that QR code there. But you can find me on the website, freshnewconsulting.com, my number, email, reach out to me, email those form of fashion. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, sit down and talk with you, what you want to do, what you're looking to accomplish, and how I can help you go forward with it.
Fantastic. And also I encourage the audience to take a print screen of the slide. I'm also going to be posting this in our Boston Institute for Meaningful Purpose blog, where we also have our podcast that we post in there. I'm also going to have this information available in the blog for people to be able to see it. And if you want to reach Shantay, which I encourage you to do so, that's the means to be able to find her. Okay, Shantay, thank you so much. Is there any final thoughts that you would like to share with our audience?
No, no. Well, I would say yes. I would say yes. One final thought is that just encourage those who are stepping into entrepreneurship. I don't want these four pillars to seem so overwhelming if you don't know how to do it. Just sit down and speak with someone that would be willing to help you. I'm willing to help you with that. Show you how you can do it in your business, or even just when you're looking to start something brand new. I do provide that opportunity as well. So if you want to do what I'm doing, there is opportunity for that as well. So I always want to extend that out to people, let them know that they can get into something that's already running. That's how Ray Kroc did it. He got into something
Yeah.
fully established already. So he didn't have to go out there and create a system. He just tapped into something that already was established and made it multiply in multiple locations. And he became almost a billionaire. I think when he passed away, he was $500 million earner.
Wow.
His
Wow, that's
wife,
great.
and his wife kept the McDonald's running. And when she passed away, it was over $1.5 billion. I think it was something
Oh
high.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know.
yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, great. Hey, this is fantastic. Thank you so much, Shantay, for coming
Thank you.
and sharing your expertise with our audience. I really look forward to I would love to bring you back sometime in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to come back. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
would love to hear more of the stories and the work you've done with your clients
Yes.
so that we can all benefit from it.
Okay, absolutely. Please. I love that. It's been a pleasure. I enjoy myself. And anyone who wants to reach me, ask me questions, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm an open book.
Thank you so much. Well, it's really been a pleasure working with you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And it'll be just be a few seconds and we'll end the session. But I want to say thank you so much again, Shantay, for your great presentation today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Oh,
me. Great host.
okay, bye bye.